It's beautiful Monday morning after a really gorgeous fall weekend here in the eastern part of the U.S. And whether you're joining us from the western or the southern or even the further north, just hope you had a great weekend. So today we're going to look at this little tiny word in, and it gets to the idea, and I find this really fascinating that so much of life is what is the story we're going to write. And is there a bigger story? And how do we write that story? How do we sort of allow our lives to be part of a bigger story? Now, a lot of people would say, well, there is no bigger story, et cetera, et cetera. Well, people can have that opinion. It's just kind of cool to think about. Maybe there is a bigger story, right? Maybe let that in for a little bit, a bigger piece. And as I preached on Sunday, maybe just for a minute, that's what grace is, right? Grace is when we see the world as God sees it just for a moment. Maybe you could say that grace is seeing the story for a moment just the way God sees it. And so with that, I want to read you a little piece here and then offer some commentaries about story. So here we go. So here's the line. It's just a real simple one. Then Jesus said to those Jews who believed him, in other words, believed that he was connected to God, if you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed. You are my disciples indeed. So it's kind of an interesting phrase there. So first off, the word disciples actually means student. So think of an academic discipline. It has that root to it, that idea of being a student. And Jesus isn't here saying, like, here he has all these people following him. He's like, look, as soon as you buy 100% in, it's all about me, vote for me. That wasn't it at all. He says this beautiful line, like, abide in my words. Abide in them. It's I think that is that beautiful invitation into this story, that we're not to sort of hold religion, faith, the words of Jesus, all these things. We're not to sort of hold those out there at arm's length. We're actually to see them, and as best as we can, to live into them. Now obviously we're living into them already, but it's that awareness, I think, that can start to change things. And what does that mean? Well, I feel like in a couple of ways, we really do get to be the authors of our own story, and not the authors of our own story in terms of that we get to pick every event and we get to pick the plot. We don't necessarily. I'm sure many of you who are watching this right now have events where you're just like, I didn't pick that. I wouldn't pick that. Yet it's part of my story, right? What we get to do is we get to be the narrator on the story. That's where we're always free, is how are we going to narrate this? How are we going to look at it? And are we going to find the miracles in it? Are we going to be able to see that? Now, of course, every story has challenges. And I read Donald Miller, who said this, and I think it's really a brilliant piece of theology. He's a Christian author, and he's a brilliant piece of theology. What he said is that just think about your own way that you read a story. And he said, is any story any good until there's a problem? And no, it's not. Like, none of us would want to read a story that had no problems in it. There's always a problem. There's always protagonists. There's always challenges. And watching how people work their way through them, that's what makes it a good story. And I think it's the same for our lives. Like, watching how people work their way through challenges really makes for a really good story. And the challenges oftentimes are hard. But boy, I'm sure you know people, right? You just see how they do stuff. And it's a little bit mind-blowing to watch. So that idea of living in a story, that idea that the story has challenges, and that idea, if you don't like your story, write a better story. And I'm not saying write a better story in terms of like change all the events around. I mean, if there are events we can change, terrific. A lot of time there's not, just to be clear about that. But we do always get to write a better story. We always get to write something that has more meaning in it. And we get to live into that deeper and deeper meaning. And folks, it's not like that deeper and deeper meaning, I think, is always found with these big heroic quests. I think a lot of the deeper meaning of life, of living in the story is just found in the ordinariness of stuff, you know? And it's like I feel like if we can pull our way down to see God's story even there, even in the mundane parts of our lives, which is frankly the vast majority of any of our days, of course we'll be able to see God in the big peak heroic moments. But with that mundane bit, it's starting to write a story where we can see God through it all, through the highest of highs and through the lowest of lows and through the mundane parts, through the spectacular parts. And that's where we start to see God in all things. I think that's when we start to live in God's word, in God's creation, in God's story. It's a much more empowered and exciting place to be. I remember Thomas Edison's famous line, and I love this, like his invention plant over in New Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia, burned to the ground. And he calls his wife and he says, "You got to get up here. You're never going to see a fire like this again." He's always the inventor. He's always like looking at this stuff. And that's not to make fires or loss little. It's just to show like how he decided to narrate that part of his particular story. And I think we're always invited to do the same because folks, like I say this a lot, but if there's anything I know, it's that life is good. Yep, really hard. Yep, really challenging. Yep, don't always understand it. Most of the time I don't understand it, to be honest. And I know that life is good. It seems to be that's how it works with all the challenges in the story and not. So just be thinking as we move into this week, what does it mean for you to live in the story? Like really in the story. And that will ground you where you are. That's not about Jesus is not interested in sending you some adventure way off foreign land, or at least for most of us. It's really about living in the story that you're in right now. And how do you live it more fully? Um, with just a greater awareness, like of all the blessings that abound. So that's my thought for today, friends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing. I do want to say that I'm wishing you folks all the very, very best today. And we've been working on this, trying to figure out this comment thing. So hopefully we'll try to do that here at the end here in a second. See how that works. And the other part, what's the other part? Oh, the other part I want to say is tonight, by the way, we're going to have a excuse me, Tuesday night, we're going to have a very special launch of a small group. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m., another one at 8:30 p.m. And I will be leading both of those with wonderful co-leaders, one from Maryland and one from Colorado. And we're going to be talking about a better adventure. You're more than welcome to join that. You can just leave your name in the comment section and I'll shoot you a note with that. And the other part is that on Wednesday night, Reverend Nathan Gladish, who's a dear friend of mine, he'll be leading a similar group also at 7 p.m. So if that Wednesday night group has interest for you, please let us know. So with that, friends, let's go ahead and get started here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just ring a bell here, and that'll help to clear our minds. After we get our minds cleared, what we're going to do is a little recitation, followed by a prayer, followed by a blessing, and then hopefully we'll have time for figure out a little way to do these comments. We're still experimenting around with it, so my apologies for that. So with that, folks, let's all get a big breath and hear the bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, folks, let's try to do our little chat thing here. See if and how this works. So just give me a second here to pull this up. This is what they said might work. So this is what I'm hoping for today, because I really do want to be able to say hi to you folks in here. Yeah, let's see if it's going to cooperate here. Still doesn't seem to be. Wait, hold it. Let's see if it's going to cooperate. Come on, Nelly. All right, let's see if it's going to cooperate here. All right, I did get to the comments. That did work. All right. Paige, very good morning to you, my friend. Great to see you, and hope you had a great weekend as well. Marcus, terrific job yesterday as always. That was super fun here in the band, and all your great work, right? Sherry, good morning to you, and I like the little fall colors there in your emoji. I'm out here at our cabin, and it's just starting to have that beautiful feel. Like you even put on a sweatshirt today, which I love. Gene, great to see you joining us this morning, and I'm so glad you and the grandkids got to join our little launch of our little Sunday 9 a.m. special kids chapel. It was fun to do, and it's fun to just do the stories. And for any of you, you're welcome to join us. We do a little 9 a.m. thing on Sundays here. And the point of the little 9 a.m. thing on Sundays is just to do a little thing for families. Just that simple. Linda writes, yes, I had to write a better, different story, which helped me to let go of sadness and embrace life. Yeah, it is interesting, right, Linda? And here's the crazy part, right? If we didn't embrace life, right? If we didn't have those hard parts, we probably wouldn't learn to embrace life. Like, interesting way of just thinking it being met, and how it all works. Martha, good morning to you, my dear friend. And Susan, great to see you joining us. Good morning to you. And wonderful to have you here. And I see a lot of other people on there too. And anyhow, folks, just wishing you all the best, and God bless. Have a great fall day. Just as simple as that. And remember, more than welcome to join our Tuesday night small group if that interests you. One at 7, one at 8:30. That's led by me with assistance from folks from Maryland and Colorado. And as well, run by Reverend Nathan Gladish. That'll be on Wednesday nights. Again, you can just shoot me a note and we'll get you all enrolled in that. So take care, folks, and God bless. Bye-bye.